If Sabrina Carpenter and Chapel Roan are the pop princesses of a 10-year overnight success, then Miley Cyrus is the queen of them all. While Miley was born into fame and Hannah Montana was a cultural moment, though I did not watch because at the height of its popularity, I was in college and watching trashy reality TV shows like Flavor of Love. Beyonce! Miley only just got her first 2 Grammys last year for Flowers, a song off her 8th studio album, and the 3rd Grammy for her duet with Beyonce off Beyonce's Cowboy Carter. She has received several other awards for her music, but we all know that for most artists, the Grammy is the coveted one. Miley said in The Interview, a podcast from the New York Times, that she never felt like she was owed any awards, but it's nice to be acknowledged for her hard work and contributions to the culture. That's relatable. It's never about the award itself, but the recognition. Miley Cyrus needs zero introduction unless you've been living under a rock for the last 20 years. So I'll just get right to the track-by-track review, intermingling that with some points she made in interviews leading up to and even post-album release that are related to the specific tracks on the album, because she was dropping a lot of gems and facts, and I really want to address that. So without further ado, let's get going. The prelude is giving perfume commercial, which is appropriate. Most perfumes are made from flowers, and Miley has said Flowers, the song that earned her her first 2 Grammys, basically unlocked this current era. Like when following an image from a train, your eyes can't keep the passing landscapes from being swallowed into endless distance. That and everything else she described so vividly on the track is the definition of anything beautiful. We try to hold on to it, but it feels elusive. Luckily, we have our phones to capture some of what was once elusive. But even the phone can't capture everything. Perfect intro to the album. Something Beautiful, the title track, is so Miley. There is no other way to put it. I, of course, don't know her personally, but in the interview, she had said her music doesn't have a category per se. She makes normal music and weird music, and this track leans heavily towards the weird or alternative. It starts off smooth, heavily jazz and R&B influenced, and then the electric guitar lights up your eardrums. There's nothing about this track that I don't like. And of course, we can't forget the nod to Prince in the first verse about watching the doves cry. Hands down my favorite track on the album. End of the World. This song was about and for her mother. Miley said it in the interview, which is linked below, and she said it again at the beginning of her live performance of the song at the Chateau Marmont. It's euphoric, nostalgic, and there's a hint of sadness to it. The lyrics, at least the first 2 lines, are about more or less both she and her mom having separation anxiety from each other fairly recently. And of course, I'm paraphrasing. Miley got emotional while performing the song and got emotional talking about her mom during the interview, obviously because she loves her mom so much, and she said the thought of one day being without her mom used to paralyze her with fear. I felt that so deeply. I had to pause the interview and process that. That whole interview was just brilliant and even made me cry, and I'm not a big crier. I love the duality of this song. It's obviously about her mother, but some parts read like they could also be about a lover. The Show Me How You'd Hold Me If Tomorrow Wasn't Coming for Sure, and Oh, I Wanna Take You to Nirvana. But anyway, the song is very appropriate for these current times. Live in the moment because tomorrow isn't promised. More to Lose, one of 2 songs on this album that was created because of Dolly Parton. Miley explains this in the Apple Music podcast, which is linked below, which I'm assuming you've watched already, but in case you haven't, it's there for you. This song is very reminiscent of The Climb, which I very much liked back in the day, and still like. The harmonica on this track, More to Lose, was everything. This track could fit very nicely at the end of a movie while the credits roll, or played during a montage. There's an accompanying film with this album, which I have not seen, so my previous comments about the end credits or montage could very well be the case. Has anyone seen the film? How is it? Let me know in the comments. Miley said in the podcast mentioned above that this film is her tour of the album. Touring for her isn't feasible, not necessarily because of the budget, which is a factor, but mainly because of Rin Ki's edema, which has to do with her vocal cords, and safety. She said performing in arenas bothered her. Too much energy and then plenty of security is needed for such a crowd. Interlude 1 is very old Hollywood. Easy Lover, another groovy one. Interestingly, this song was written with Beyonce in mind. That's why there is a part in there where she says, "Tell 'em B." In the music video, there's also a possible nod to Beyonce's fashion choice for her current album cycle, the cowboy chaps. That's just my interpretation. Miley hasn't said this anywhere I'm aware of. Interlude 2. It's the prelude, but faster. Golden Burning Sun. My favorite part is the repeated surrender. I could be reaching with this, but I feel like the title of this song is a callback to this line from the prelude. Like when facing the sun through a window, your skin feels warmth, but it can't be in the world that its warmth has made alive. Walk of Fame. Am I the only one who associates Europop with Lady Gaga and drag? This is what the song is giving. Again, I feel there's a callback or reference to the prelude with the line, "Yeah, I could grab my coat and head out towards the train." And then again with this other line, "And through the mirror, I can see it so clear." Pretend Your God has this dreamy 90s alternative rock quality to it. I love that radio voice effect. Every Girl You've Ever Loved, the second song created because of Dolly Parton. Miley got the Naomi Campbell on the track. No big deal. When Naomi said she never wears a watch, still she's never late, I felt like that was a dig at Anna Wintour, who incidentally, at the time of writing this, has stepped down or is retiring from Vogue.
I am a very punctual person, and I have the honor of presenting tonight to someone who is often late.
Yes, Naomi, it's always late. I want to say this. Everything's meant to work out the way it's meant to work out. It wasn't my choice to have the other lady. I'd much rather have this.
Julia Fox will be so happy to hear. Now watch the Met Gala be even more messy and chaotic next year. But I digress. Miley is in her Europop and 70s groovy bag with this album, and it suits her. This is another very Gaga type of song. The star of this track is the cello. Miley said she wanted it to sound like what Naomi would have been listening to when she was getting ready for the runway in the 90s. Reborn. In the interview, she had said this song is a reference to her winding down. This isn't the last we've heard from Miley, however, when we hear from her again, it won't be like this. In other words, she wants to release music how and when she wants, with little to no pressure, or worrying about if it's going to chart. In fact, she said in 2 interviews that she's already working on new music, which doesn't surprise me because while Something Beautiful was just released and is new to us listeners, she's been with this project for the last 2 years, so I would imagine it's old to her. Give Me Love. I was going to attempt deconstructing what she said about how this song came to be, but I'll just play the clip of her saying it.
Give Me Love. This is how the album concludes, and it's a powerful image. I mean,
Thank you.
It's one of the most powerful images on the record in the sense of I'm going to build something, I'm going to create a space, I dream it, I imagine it to be real, and then at the end, it's kind of sad.
I really appreciate that.
It's like at the end, it's kind of like, okay, I'm with my last breath, I'm going to watch this thing crumble down around me, you know what I mean?
Writing that was a really interesting process, and I was excited to tell you about it.
Yeah.
It's not real, but I got a Bosch painting. There was like a yard sale down the street, like Deep Valley,
and I saw this Bosch painting that was just amazing. And obviously it's not a Bosch painting, it's a recreation. It's incredible. I love those panels so much, and the story that they tell, and that like love was basically the, in this take, was the path to sin. Love itself was the path to hell. In the sense of what we will do for it, or what it will make us do. Yeah, so in the panels, it's showing that sex is damning, this middle panel, to then lead us to the third panel, which is hell, which actually shows music as evil. There's, a lot of instruments, which, fun fact, a lot of those instruments from that Bosch third panel is in Give Me Love. It was really important to me that those instruments were actually incorporated into the production.
At first listen, the song has a somber feeling to it. It feels late 60s, early 70s, psychedelic, ABBA. These are just some things that came to mind when I heard the song initially. I went back to the song after her description, like really listened to the arrangement without trying to read the lyrics on the screen or watch the timer of the track elapsing. It truly is maximalist, but doesn't take away from the lyrics. She said the song is infused with healing sounds, and I caught that too. The sort of frequency music I listen to while meditating, which I do for 10 minutes every day. The album is a work of art. It does take a few listens to get acclimated to her vision here, and for me, watching interviews about the album makes everything much more clear. It's amazing how recognition, in this case Miley's Grammy for Flowers, can be healing. And as Miley said, now that she's gotten the Grammy, she can go back to making her weird shit that many won't understand, but will be what she's been craving to make her whole adult career, not necessarily for the charts, but to basically combine all her eras into one and just appreciate how far she's come. I'm glad she's not like some of these other people who, despite having a Grammy or several, still want to collect more and more. Like, where does it end? That's all I have in regards to my review or analysis of the album, but I have a couple more points to make in regards to Miley's interviews, which of course I invite you to stay for, because I also have a bit of an announcement to make, but I understand if you click off now, because you were here strictly for the review and not my ramblings. That being said, what's up, beautiful people, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Yaira, better known as simply Yaya. I am proudly African from Cameroon, born and bred. I worked for Disney for the better half of my adult life, and more recently Whole Foods. I am always working on leveling and glowing up, and I have a Master of Science in Journalism, which informs how I view and discuss some aspects of pop culture on this channel. And for early access to my videos and some additional content and perks, you may sign up for my membership by clicking the join button next to the subscribe button. It's $4.99 a month. I already have an hour-long, juicy storytime video uploaded if you're into longer videos. I decided to hold my introduction until nearly the end of the video to minimize drop-off at the beginning of the video. I've noticed that viewers typically drop off during my intro, but I have to do it. It's part of my brand. Anyway, this video is uploaded later than I anticipated because I was having real trouble with the script. Why? I'm glad you asked, because I was going to tell you anyway. Couple of things were happening, none of them related to the album itself. I was overthinking the script. I also felt I was approaching burnout because at this point I have done 8 album reviews, not including Something Beautiful. Last year I did about the same amount of album reviews before I hit a wall and had to postpone a few reviews to this year. The third and probably the most important reason is I was experiencing a creative block of sorts. I love reviewing albums, and for me it's more than just the album, right? Pop culture is not just the music. It's fashion, business, it's a whole world. And as a result, it has an impact on culture. There are observations to be made, lessons to be learned. But with everything happening in the world right now, I was starting to wonder what I was even doing. Like, is there even a point to all of this when people are dying left and right? Basically the same sentiment I was feeling in 2020 during the lockdown. I am passionate about this, of course, but passion simply isn't enough. especially not now or ever. There has to be a reason, a purpose as well. After much soul searching, I came to the realization that my purpose, at least for these videos, are storytelling. There's nothing like a great story. It captivates, transports, and transforms. Miley has said she views her music like medicine for a sick culture. Likewise, not that I'm comparing myself to Miley, but I view my work, my videos, as not just entertainment, but information and inspiration. You know, like my channel name, Interested, Informed, Inspired. I've always known this, but I needed a reminder because it's incredibly easy to forget when things are going haywire around me. As far as the Miley interviews, man, she said a lot of things that I felt to my core. And again, they are linked below, and I strongly encourage you to watch them if you haven't already. They are so good. But in one of the interviews, she talked about rage and how when not released, it's stored in your body and manifests as pain. And I started thinking about my lower back pain, not related to my monthly cycle. And I wondered, could that be the anger I've suppressed? I laugh a lot, but I feel like I have an anger problem, and I'm still unpacking where that's coming from. Then, in Miley's interview with Monica Lewinsky, Miley talked about Disney and how she initially got the part as the lead in Hotel Transylvania, but got fired and replaced with Selena Gomez, another Disney girl incidentally, all because there was a picture of her, Miley, at a private event involving a cake shaped like a penis. This was news to me. Not the cake situation, but the fact that she, Miley, was the initial choice for Mavis Dracula. But it made me think about when I worked at Disney and started this channel. I was so afraid to fully be myself because I feared that if I slipped and said something about the company while still working there, someone I worked with who didn't like me could see it, report it, and I could get fired, even though it's something that I'm doing on my own time, off the clock and off property. I felt I had to sanitize my speech, so to speak, or self-edit, so that whatever I say is not taken the wrong way, and it is beyond exhausting. My channel isn't even for kids. My target audience is age 25 to 35. But anyway, you can go back and watch some of my older vlogs from 2019. It's so painfully obvious. Also, in 2019, I was watching a lot of Erin on Demand here on YouTube, and I still watch her and live for her content. But in those old vlogs, I was copying her style of vlogging, her style of editing her vlogs, and some of her mannerisms or the way she would say some things, which makes me cringe now when I rewatch those old vlogs. But it's also not all on Disney. The self-editing or sanitized speech was also because I made a mistake of telling friends, family, and a few coworkers about my YouTube channel. If I had to do it again, I wouldn't tell anyone, just my mom and my brother, obviously. And the reason is friends and family may not necessarily be interested in the topics I discuss on here, but they may want to support by watching just 2 minutes of a 20-minute video, but that's actually hurting my channel, not helping. And then they don't comment because they didn't watch the entire video because they don't care for pop culture. So it's a vicious cycle. I want my videos to find whoever is interested in this stuff versus me force-feeding the people in my life this stuff that they don't care about. I also do understand that some people may watch but not comment because they don't want to leave a digital footprint on YouTube. I say too late, babes. The government, YouTube, Elon Musk already got all your info. Might as well comment. There's more I would like to discuss, but I don't want this video to be too long. Those are just the main points I wanted to discuss. So thanks for listening to my TED Talk. And if you stayed till the end, please drop an emoji of a person doing yoga so that I'll know you watched all the way. I have a review of Chloe next, which was a request. Then Tyler, Addison Rae, SZA, and Lorde. And I think moving forward, I'll follow this same format of talking strictly about the artist and the album at the beginning and saving my comments about my connection to the album or the artist till the end. I'll have some Cameroon/African content soon, but I can't tell you when. I'll also be reviewing The Woman in the Yard and Sinners at some point, so stay tuned. And by stay tuned, I mean subscribe and hit that notification bell. Let me know what you would like to see as well. Otherwise, I will keep making videos of what I want to see. And watch this next.